Hello, everyone, and welcome back. And if you're watching this, chances are you're either started live streaming or you're about to, and you want to look your absolute best. You want that crisp, clear, professional video that makes your audience says, "Wow, this person knows what they are doing." Well, you are in the right place. Today, we are diving deep into the camera setup secrets that can transform your live stream from just okay to stream like a pro. We are talking about getting crystal clear live video every single time. We'll cover everything from choosing the right camera, diving into essential settings like resolution, frame rate, and exposure, perfecting your lighting, mastering camera placements and framing, and even troubleshooting common video issues. By the end of this, you will have a roadmap to significantly boost your stream visual appeal. So grab a notepad, maybe a cup of coffee, and let's get your camera ready for the prime time. First thing first, what kind of camera are you using? Or what should be, you should be looking for? For many, journey starts with a simple webcam. And guess what? Modern webcams, especially models like Logitech, Elgato, OBS Bot, and there are so many others, are incredibly capable, especially in 2025. They offer 1080p and even 4K resolution, 60 frame per second, and often built-in AI features for auto tracking and exposures. There are several benefits with webcam. Number one is affordable. Of course, they are quite low cost as compared to the cameras, but not very cheap. Plug and play and compact. Limitations are they have a smaller sensor, less control over depth of the field, and generally not in a very good you don't behave good in low light. And if you are looking for that truly cinematic high quality look with your beautiful background blur, a DSLR or a mirrorless camera is your go-to. Think Sony series, Canon series, or Panasonic series. There are several others like Olympus. There are several other Kodak is there, etc. The benefit for DSLR is large sensor. That means great low light, interchangeable lenses for different looks, incredible image quality, and manual control over everything. Limitations, definitely more expensive, requires capture card like Elgato, Camlink, or similar to connect to your PC, can overheat if not set up properly, and therefore more complex to set up. Well, don't underestimate the power of your smartphone. Modern phones like the latest iPhone or high-end Android have incredible cameras. Benefit, they're always with you. Great image quality, easy to use, often has advanced features. Limitations, can tie up your phone, battery drain, still a limited control compared to a dedicated camera. You will need an app like HX camera or similar to get the feed to your PC. No matter what you're using, the principle we are about to discuss apply across the board. The goal is to maximize what you have. This is where we start turning dials and making a real difference. Incorrect camera setting are one of the biggest culprit for poor stream quality. Let's look at the resolution and frame rate. This is foundational. Resolution is how many pixels are there in your image. For example, 1080p or 720p or even higher, which is 4K. So 1080p is optimum, 720p is lower, 4K is quite high. Frame rate is how many individual images or frames are shown per second. That is 30 fps or 60 fps, or it goes up to 120 fps for a high-end camera. So what are my recommendations? 1080p at 60 fps is what I recommend for your live stream. This is the gold standard for most live streamers, especially in 2025. It offers a crisp image with smooth motion, perfect for gaming, fast paced commentary, or just looking great. 1080p at 30 fps still perfectly fine for talking head streams, podcast, or less motion sensitive content. It is also less demanding on your internet and PC. 720p at 60 fps or 30 fps. I mean, if your internet is struggling or your PC is older, 720p is a good fallback. Prioritize frame rate over resolution for smooth gameplay or your live stream. Now, what about 4K? Only if you have the best of a PC, blazing fast internet, which is something like at least 20 Mbps upload to start with. And if you have about 300 megabytes per second, it is desirable, especially when you're shooting in 4K. And your platform support it well. It's often overkill for typical live stream. Well, you can take 4K pictures and you can take movies, but for live stream, it is too much to ask for. Now, what are your actions? In your streaming software, things like OBS or Streamlabs, you need to set up your base canvas, resolution to your monitor's resolution, and you have to match the base canvas with your resolution, and your output scale to the resolution that you desire, especially when you're talking about the Steam resolution. Uh, and therefore, set your common FPS value. Now, mostly for most of the laptops and home computers, the resolution is set to 1920 by 1080p. So I think best thing to do is to set up your base canvas, your monitor resolution, and your stream resolution about the same thing, so that there are no extra processing required while streaming, because everything else is same end to end. So 920 and 1080p is the best. Now let's talk about shutter speed. Now this is more relevant for the SLR or DSLR or mirrorless cameras. These controls have long camera sensors and how long you can expose to light. Now there are certain rules of thumb. Double your frame rate if you are at 60 fps. Set your shutter speed to 1/20th of a second, and if you are at 30 fps, aim for 1/60th of a second. So if you are actually transmitting in higher frame rate, your shutter speed can also has a room to, because to shorten its time. But if you're doing at 30 fps, then you probably have to half it. That means the shutter speed will have to close open 60 times in a second. And this motion actually creates the frame in the first place. Now this gives your motion a natural pleasing blur. Too fast looks choppy and unnatural. Too slow can cause motion blur in a moving object. Now let's talk about aperture. Again, this is more relevant for DSLRs. The aperture controls two things: how many light particles enter the lens, and your depth of the field. So low f number, which is the aperture, more light, shallower depth of the field, blurry background, etc. So these are different effects. If you want to create, you can use smaller aperture to create these effects. Higher f number or higher aperture, less light, deeper depth of field, and more of your background is in focus. So you could set that up accordingly. So what are the recommendations for a professional subject focused look? Aim for a lower aperture number, lower f number, like f number should be 2.8 and not more than 5.6. This separates you from your background, adjust based on your lighting. Now I'm sure you must have heard about ISO. What is ISO? ISO determines your camera sensor's sensitivity to light. Keep your ISO as low as possible, starting with ISO as low as 100, not more than 200. Why? High ISO introduce noise or grain in your image, making it look gritty and unprofessional, especially in low light. Only increase ISO as a last resort if you can't get enough light from your aperture or lighting. Next, what is white balance? White balance is it is it tells your camera white should look like, how much white it should capture, ensuring colors are accurate and natural. Without correct white balance, you could look too orange, that means too warm, or too blue, that means too cool. So what are my recommendations? Set this manually or use a custom white balance if your camera allows. Look for the K sign, which is Kelvin, and set it accordingly. Now let's look at the daylight. Daylight is 5000 to 5600 K, which is the temperature if you are looking at the daylight in your camera. And how much is indoor? Indoor is 3000 to 4500 K. Point your camera at a white piece of paper or a gray card, then use your camera's custom white balance function or just the Kelvin slider in your camera or streaming software until your skin tone looks natural. Now let's talk about focus. Autofocus versus manual focus. Now if you want to be sharper, autofocus is important, and in fact modern cameras and webcams have excellent autofocus, often with face or eye tracking. This is great for most streamers who move around and move beyond the camera. What is manual focus? If you are stationary and want absolute control, setting manual focus ensure that you're always perfectly sharp. Many cameras offer focus peaking, which highlights what's in the focus. So what are the tips? If you are using autofocus, make sure it is set to continuously track your face. If it is hunting, constantly refocusing, then it may create some issues with your image. And then if this autofocus is not working, switch to manual so that you can create more stable video. Now let's look at the power of lighting, because this is a game changer. If there is one thing that will instantly elevate your stream quality more than anything else, it's the good lighting. You can have the fanciest camera, but without the light, it is completely useless. So what are the avoidable common mistakes? Number one is the backlighting. Don't sit with a bright window or a lamp directly behind you. You will become, a very absurd looking person, with a sort of a outline around you. Overhead lighting. Ceiling light create harsh shadows under your eyes, making you look tired or sort of sickly. Single undiffused light is also not good. A bare bulb or a bright ring light without diffusion can be too harsh and create unflattering hotspots. The streamer sweet spot. What is that sweet spot? Is it the frontal and diffuse light? Let's find out. You want your light coming from in front of you, slightly off to the side, and needs to be soft and diffused. Why diffused? Soft light warp around your face, minimizing harsh shadows and providing a flattering, even glow on your face or on your surface which is exposed to the camera. So how to, or you can just pick up the diffuse light itself. Most dedicated streaming lights like Elgato or Logitech comes with a diffuser or have softbox already available. Next option is the ring light. These are popular because they provide even diffuse light from all angles, minimizing the shadows. Third is the bouncing lights. Point a bright light at a white wall or a ceiling behind your camera to bounce diffuse light back onto you. So what are the DIY options here? Take a white bed sheet or a thin white fabric over a light, and that can work, to create your light from being very bright to diffuse light. Now, you might have heard about the 3-point lighting system. Let's understand what is the 3-point lighting system. This is a cinematic standard, and you can achieve a simplified version of your stream by following the following steps. So, let's look at the key light. What is a key light? This is your main brightest light. Position it about 45 degrees to one side of your camera, slightly above your eye level, angled down towards your face. This creates a dimension. Next is the fill light. Placed on the opposite side of your camera, this softer light fills in the shadows created by your key light. It should be less intense than your key light. You can use a second light, a dimmer light, or even white reflector card to bounce light from your key light. Last is the backlight, which is basically to shine your hair. This light is placed behind you, slightly above your head, aimed at your shoulder or hair. Its purpose is to separate you from the background, adding depth and making you pop out. It doesn't need to be a super bright or an RGB light. It can be a nice color accent, etc. Now let's look at the color temperature. Just like white balance, your light have a color temperature. Aim for a consistent neutral white, typical between 4000 to 5600 Kelvin. What you should avoid: very warm orange below 3000 Kelvin, or very cool, which is blue, above 6000 Kelvin. These are lights for your main illumination, as they can make your skin look unnatural. Make your light to your camera white balance. Make sure that all settings are correct. Now let's look at the placement and framing. That your camera settings are already keyed in and everything is perfect. Let's talk about where to put the camera and how to compose your shot. Eye level is the key. Host, when you are sitting as a host, you have to maintain the camera at the eye level. Your camera should be at a slightly above your eye level. Why? It avoids unflattering angles. No one wants a double chin or a shot, or to be looking down their nose at the camera. And it creates the feeling that you're looking directly at your audience, making the interaction more personal and engaging. Use a tripod, a webcam stand, or even a stack of books or monitor to raise your camera. Now, how much distance and zoom should be there? Don't sit too close or too far. Frame yourself from from the chest up, leaving some headroom, which is the space above your head. And this is a standard professional looking shot for most streamer. What you should avoid? Sit too close. It can distort your features and feel aggressive. And if you're sitting too far, make you look small and distant, losing connection with the viewer. And if you use zoom, again I'm saying you should not be zooming, although camera comes with a zoom feature. If your camera has an optical zoom, especially in the DSLR, or a digital zoom in webcam, etc., use it to frame your shot rather than physically moving your camera too far away. Now, what is the rule of thirds? This is a fundamental composition principle. Imagine dividing your screen into 3x3 grid, and that will give you all the dimensions properly. What are my recommendations? Instead of placing yourself dead center, position yourself slightly off center along one of the vertical lines, or you have your eye aligns with a top horizontal line. This creates a more dynamic and visually interesting composition. Now let's talk about background. Does background matters? Of course it matters. What is behind you? A clean, organized, intentional background, or something else? Clean, intentional background is crucial. First of all, declutter. Remove distracting items. Add interest A well placed plant, a bookshelf, some subtle art, or even some background RGB light can add personality without overwhelming. Try to have some space between you and the background to create depth. If your space is an issue, consider AI powered background removal. Well, for those removal, you may need some specialized camera or have a physical green screen with virtual background capabilities. Even with the best setup, sometimes things go wrong, and therefore there are some quick fix which I will have to talk about. Pixelation and blurry video. What is the cause? Often an internet speed issue or incorrect bitrate in your streaming software. Check the internet speed, run a speed test. You need at least 10 Mbps upload for a 1080p and at 60 fps. Next is lower bitrate. So in your streaming software, reduce your video bitrate from 6000 kbps to 4500 kbps for 1080p or lower for 780p. What about the lower resolution frame rate? So as a last resort, step down to 720p or 30 fps. Close all the background applications, freeing up your CPU and GPU resources. Dark or underexposed videos. What is the cause? Insufficient lighting, wrong aperture, and wrong ISO settings. So what you could do: add more light, lower your aperture, increase ISO. So these three settings, if you're taking care, your camera setting will never go wrong. Ensure exposure made appropriately, and your camera is trying to compensate for your dark room. So make sure that the ISO is also increased. Uh, what if there is too much light and aperture is too low and ISO is too high, or exposure settings are wrong? So reduce light intensity or move light further away, and things like that. So what happens if there are color issues? Incorrect white balance is the reason. How do you fix it? Manually set your white balance using a white card, or adjust the Kelvin setting in your camera or streaming software until color looks natural. What if you encounter a choppy camera feed? So basically this is related to your CPU or GPU usage or USB bandwidth issues. So make sure that the resources are freed up on your PC on which you are actually doing your live stream. Close all unnecessary programs on your PC when you start your live streaming. And let's look at the testing and ensuring consistency of your live stream. So now you have made all the adjustment, and the most crucial step is testing. Do a test recording before your major stream. Record a short clip, 30 to 60 seconds of yourself just talking normally. Review it. Watch it back from a viewer's perspective. Is this video clear? Are you in focus? Is the lighting flattering? Are the colors natural? Is the audio in sync? And by the way, audio we will cover in the next next tutorial, but right now we are not covering. It's a totally different, much vaster field. So adjust and repeat, make small tweaks and test again until you are happy. So consistency is the key. Once you find settings that work well, try to maintain a consistent setup. Mark your tripod positions, lighting angles, and save your camera profiles. Remember, this isn't a one and done deal. Your environment can change, light can shift, and new software update might alter things. Regular testing ensures that you're always putting your best visual foot forward. And there you have it, the essential camera setup secrets to achieve crystal clear, professional looking live video. By focusing on your camera type, mastering these crucial settings, optimizing your lighting, and nailing your placement and framing, you are well on your way to stream like a pro. So don't be intimidated by all the settings. Start with the basics, make small changes, and you will see a massive improvement in your stream quality. If this video helped you, please hit like button, subscribe for more streaming tips, and let me know in the comment below what is your biggest camera challenge or what one tip that changed your stream. Thanks for watching. I will see you next one in the next one. Happy streaming. Bye for now.